That's the question that I've had for a while now is what's the metric for all of this to stop? And I don't really think they have one in mind. I think that they are just continuing to impose these restrictions in the hope of bringing cases lower, bringing deaths lower, bringing hospitalizations lower, with no metric for when there's an acceptable level of risk to society that we can mostly return to normal. Um, the city hasn't really put in place any timeline for vaccine mandates to end. It sounds like they're intended to be somewhat permanent. Mask mandates have had no deadline for them to end. So it's, yeah, it's definitely frustrating to not have any sort of guidelines for when we can at least ease up with restrictions.
And you had asked actually in your article, there was, I don't know if he was a doctor, but he was like an epidemiologist or a biostatistician, right? That was on the university's committee determining COVID policies. And he said, I wasn't in the room when they decided to go remote, right? But the school had said something about, oh, we, consulted with our experts. But you actually asked the person on the team that actually has a degree in, studying the spread of virus. I forget what his exact degree is in, but it's something along those lines, biostatistician. And he said, oh, I wasn't even in the room when they decided. There was one university, I forget which one it was, where the person who's the head of the COVID response team was also like a professor of women and gender studies. So it's just like, is it being based off of how do you minimize the risk to people with four comorbidities, or is it just and I wonder how much too, like the local media, if the Chicago Tribune runs a story saying DePaul has 500 new cases of COVID, there's still people who think, wow, that's the end of the world. Not, okay, 498 of those are 21-year-olds like you or 22-year-old you are, and they're probably just going to sit in their apartment for a week and not go to class. And like they're not really they're responsible